growing number of people facing homelessness prompts the city to look at solutions. Good evening and thank you for joining us. The City of Thunder Bay is considering the creation of designated encampment locations on municipal property. The move comes as a growing number of people facing homelessness are pitching a tent to find shelter. The city is now looking for public feedback on the idea of assigning specific locations for the tents. Lee Noonan has more.
Thunder Bay has seen an increasing number of people living in encampments over at least the last 3 years, according to the city's Director of Strategy and Engagement, Cynthia Olson. One way the city is looking to address the issue is by designating specific locations for encampments on municipal land.
Designated encampments aren't a solution and aren't the answer. Housing really is, but in the interim, while encampments do exist, are there other ways that we can better support those individuals that are living in encampments as well as the broader community?
The idea was first raised in council last April as part of a motion to take a human rights-based approach to handling homeless encampments.
It could be that there is a location that is compliant or it's permissible, and then it would allow potentially other locations that would not be permissible given some certain guidelines. Additionally, some designated could be supported and have enhanced amenities available, like access to showers and toilets and running water and electricity. We're not there yet.
There's no plan yet as to where the locations might be, how many would be established, or what kinds of supports would be provided there or by whom. The city has launched a preliminary survey asking the public for their input. Olson says they'll also be consulting directly with people who have lived experience and the service providers who support encampment residents. Elevate NWO Executive Director Holly Gauvin has concerns about the idea of designated encampments, but says she's keeping an open mind.
From the perspective of a service provider, it sure makes my job a lot easier. If I know this is the only location that I need to look after or support, then I can drive all of my resources and all of my staffing to that. The con is that it also means that everybody else knows where people are located, and so people who may wish to do harm may begin to prey on people who are already in a very, very tough and very vulnerable position.
Gauvin says other cities have tried the idea before, some successfully, others not so much. She's waiting to see the survey results before passing judgment. The survey closes at midnight on April 1st. It's available at thunderbay.ca/getinvolved, as well as in person at City Hall and all library branches. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
Thunder Bay Police are seeing good results so far in using new technology for their investigations. The BriefCam software helps police sift through hours of surveillance camera footage to find persons of interest or vehicles involved in crimes. An update was provided this week to the Police Services Board. Jonathan Wilson reports.
The world changes rapidly. There is now video surveillance seemingly everywhere.
Detective Inspector Jeremy Pearson says their investigators are pleased with the accuracy of the BriefCam technology since they started using it in January. The artificial intelligence software can analyze hours of security video footage and then locate and isolate people who police may be looking for, or vehicles and their license plates. Pearson says it will provide major time savings for their investigators.
Essentially, we use it as a search tool. It allows us to review video very, very quickly. The program itself reviews video, and then flags objects, which are then reviewed by an investigator for their significance.
The police board authorized the use of BriefCam in October, and the policies for using it were finalized in December. So far, it's been used by City Police for 3 separate sudden death investigations. City Police Chief Darcy Fleury says there will be other uses for it, but there are situations where it's not appropriate.
The way that we intend to use it is going to be really beneficial to some of the investigations that we have ongoing, and some of the cases that when we're looking for people and that type of thing. So it's going to be really beneficial. It has to be very well controlled, so we're not going to abuse it.
One of the things that we want to be sure the community is aware of is that we do not activate facial recognition, and we're not using the software to actively monitor any live video. It's simply a search tool and analysis tool that we use on video that we've already obtained in the course of an investigation.
Meanwhile, City Police have now provided an update on one of those sudden death investigations. A man was found seriously injured outside the Andrus Court apartment complex on January 24th, and he later died in hospital. It appears the death was not criminal in nature, as police say it is now considered a private matter for the family. Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
Two people from Kenora have been arrested by OPP after being spotted conducting a drug deal right outside the city's courthouse. The transaction was observed last Friday afternoon by officers with the Kenora Street Crime Unit. A search of one of the suspects resulted in the discovery of $15,000 worth of Percocet pills, meth, and hydromorphone. A large amount of cash was also seized. A 34-year-old woman and a 42-year-old man face charges of drug possession, with the woman also being charged with drug trafficking. Local advocates for a basic income program are welcoming a judge's decision to certify a $200 million class action against the province. The lawsuit was launched by recipients of Ontario's pilot program, which was abruptly cancelled by the Ford government soon after the 2018 election. A Superior Court judge in Toronto released a decision this month certifying the case as a class action. The pilot program was introduced by the previous Liberal government in 2017. Participating individuals received up to $17,000 a year or $24,000 for couples. Thunder Bay was one of 3 locations where the pilot was run, with 1,000 people enrolled from this area. One of them was Benjamin Murray, who used the guaranteed income to start a music mentoring business and turn his life around. He's still upset about how the pilot program was terminated.
Initially, the shock was that we found out through the media instead of through like official channels, and it was really abrupt. The payment stopped, I think, the same time we got the announcement, so it was kind of like going from one thing to the other like very, very quickly. Personally, it affected me and my family. I wasn't able to keep up with the payments. I had to figure something out. On my vehicle, I had to figure something out. We were just kind of left in the lurch like everybody else in the province that was on it, I guess, at the time.
The class action will now move to the second stage, which is the common issue trial. If the lawsuit is successful, class action members would receive damages for the canceled payments. There are concerns being raised today that part of Lake Ontario at Ontario Place could be filled in as part of a redevelopment plan. The opposition New Democrats are sounding the alarm. CTV's Siobhan Morris has more.
The revamp of Ontario Place is already a controversial one, with nearly a century-long lease, parking garage, and spa on the way. But New Democrats think there's more to be concerned about.
Renderings in a ministry document that were dated from September 2020 reveal that Phase 2 of the Ontario Place redevelopment includes a plan to make the East Island part of the mainland.
The possible connection to be made with concrete.
When was the Premier going to tell the public his secret plan to pave over Lake Ontario?
The infrastructure minister didn't say if that option has been ruled out, only repeating what the government has announced.
April 18th, 2023, when again I joined the Premier and Live Nation to announce that we're building a brand new science center, a water park facility, 50 acres of public realm space, as well as a brand new amphitheater.
The only reason we know about this Phase 2 is because we unearthed it. They didn't announce anything like that.
Surma and the Premier continued to sidestep questions about any additional plans.
I am very excited because construction is underway at Ontario Place.
Let's go with the NDP and Liberal plan. Let's leave it just the way it was. Weeds growing up. No one's going to Ontario Place.
The province's Auditor General is in the middle of a value for money audit of the Ontario Place redevelopment. We don't know when that report might land or what new information it may reveal. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Anishinaabe Police Service recruits are now in Thunder Bay, and they're going through the final process before their deployment. The Police Services Training Unit is preparing them for their eventual careers working in remote NAN communities. Josh Morano reports.
A dozen recent graduates from the Ontario Police College are in the midst of a 3-week training program to begin their journeys as NAPS officers. These trainees are going through rigorous physical and mental modules before their formal swearing in and deployment. Thunder Bay Police Inspector Ryan Gibson has been seconded to NAPS to serve as a superintendent for the police service. He joined the training as a surprise visitor and shared some policing insight and tips for these new recruits.
There's a lot of good that they do, and we expect a lot out of our officers just because they're working with smaller communities, and we want them to be able to just integrate as quickly as possible, and we want them to be comfortable, and we want the community members to really feel like they've got someone that really is concerned about their well-being, because they are.
Taser, taser! Each recruit went through basic training at the police college, with some having previously worked in the field before deciding to join NAPS as a uniformed officer. While they say it's been incredibly hard work getting ready for when they're deployed in the field, they feel they're ready to get going and serve in one of the 34 communities policed by NAPS.
It's a combination of excitement and a little bit of anxiety. I hope that with all the skills that I've acquired, I'll be able to effectively police. At the same time, I think it's going to be a lot of personal development for myself to build relations with the community I'm posted to build that bridge, to fill that gap between the community and law enforcement.
It's actually like coming closer and closer, but you know, I'm looking actually forward to it. Something I really wanted to actually for a while now. This is the first police service I always wanted. You know, they serve my community, so hopefully get back there one of these days.
With around a week and a half left of training, once these officers are deployed, they will spend another couple of days with a supervisor in their communities before setting out on their own. Josh Morano, TBT News.
Back-to-back championships are on the mind of a competitive angler from Kenora. Jeff Gustafson won the Bassmaster Classic in Tennessee last year, and he's looking to defend his title this weekend at the 2024 competition in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The Bassmaster Classic is considered to be the Super Bowl of bass fishing. It was the first time a Canadian won the trophy, along with a $300,000 grand prize. Gustafson, who is better known as Gussie, caught a total of 12 smallmouth bass, weighing in at 42 pounds 7 ounces, about a pound more than the nearest competitor. Now he turns his attention to Grand Lake in Tulsa, where he's looking to go back-to-back.
I'm super excited. I'm ready to defend the title and try and bring that big trophy back to Canada again. I'm looking forward to getting back out there. It's going to be a fun event, and hopefully you can make it down and, you know, follow the tournament, check out the expo. It's going to be awesome.
Gussie has plenty of fans in Kenora and other parts of the region who will be cheering him on. The tournament begins on Friday and runs until Sunday. Well, I'm cheering for Gussie as well, Fiona. And, turning our attention now to weather, still cooler temperatures than what we were getting used to before.
Cooler, this is cold.
This is cold, yeah, okay, fair enough.
It was described to me today as deceptively cold, with a lot of sunshine today, but some strong winds. Well, we hit a high of -6, but with winds at times gusting up to 47 kilometers per hour, you felt every one of those -14 wind chills. That's under a fair amount of sunshine. And as we head into the rest of the region, well, there's definitely been a lot cooler air moving in from the northwest. In fact, Red Lake, one of the coldest locations in the region, last night hitting wind chills of -29. At this hour, they're at a high of -12 for the day, but it still feels like -20. As you head south towards Kenora, Dryden, they're at -11, -8 in Fort Francis. That is also the high for the fort under a whole lot of sunshine. But again, wind chills are making it feel about 7 or 8 degrees cooler than this number would suggest. As you head further east, well, equally cool up into Armstrong and Greenstone. They've had a lot of cloud this afternoon. Started out with snow. It transitioned to cloud in the afternoon, and they too have some pretty cool wind chills. At this hour, it feels like -22, and that's because of some moderate gusty winds. And as you head down along the north and eastern shores of Lake Superior, Sault Ste. Marie at -6, they're dealing with winds all day gusting 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. So they've been dealing with snow and blowing snow. And at this hour, the wind chill feels like -16. Now, here in the city of Thunder Bay, this is not practically spring or spring-like weather. -21 and a wind chill of -28. So if you are outside, bundle up because there is a risk of frostbite, and winds will start out pretty gusty, 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. It's going to taper off, but it looks like once again Mother Nature took a left turn when she saw the sign for spring.
Yeah.
Because this is definitely much more winter-like weather. We should be seeing daytime highs on the plus side. Overnight lows minus, but single digits, not like what we are seeing for the rest of this week.
Absolutely, Fiona. This is literally, once spring came, Mother Nature said, oh, it's winter. We forgot it. So
Very
I'll
confusing.
prepare. Very confusing. My body is confused. Thank you so much, Fiona. Well, when we come back, there was a heated debate in Parliament today over the planned hike, or over the planned carbon tax hike. We'll have more on that as your Wednesday News Hour continues.
We as common sense conservatives are saying no to Trudeau's 23% April Fool's Day increase.